Yeah, I mean, when I started the program, I had no idea that I would feel this healthy, a couple of years down the road. Actually, more healthy than I was, a lot healthy, more healthy than I was before Crohn's diagnosis.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just amazing, the transformation.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm joined here by Chris, who worked with us for 6 months and healed his Crohn's that he had for 7 years. Thanks for joining me, mate.
No problem. Pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. So Chris obviously had Crohn's for 7 years and he's been medication free for nearly 2 years now and been healed and symptom free for just over a year and a half. So it's really cool to have you on the channel and have you
Mhm.
back here again to share, a little bit about how you've been since then, but also uh, both Chris and I asked you guys some questions on Instagram, and a lot of you guys responded. So we're really excited to go through some of these questions. And yeah, so if you just before we start the questions, mate, how are you doing? How's everything going?
Yeah, really well. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I started the program, I had no idea that I would feel this healthy, a couple of years down the road. Actually, more healthy than I was, a lot healthy, more healthy than I was before Crohn's diagnosis.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just amazing, the transformation.
All right. So I think we're going to start off with some of your questions. So some of your followers asked you a few questions here on Instagram. So the first one was by Natalie Lisa 24, and she asked how you stayed motivated or avoided cravings during the healing phase.
Yeah, it's a good question. When I was healing, it was something that I was fully committed to, and because I knew that, from 7 years of taking medications, this was something that didn't work, and was never going to work because I'd done everything, I'd taken everything, and
Mm,
so I was fully committed to the healing plan. And you always have, like, all of us always has food around, or when we're out and about, we smell food and see food, and there's always temptation there. But when you associate that food, whether it be processed foods or animal foods, with the pain and the suffering of Crohn's disease, then it becomes easy to eat what makes you feel good. And when you've
mm,
been through the healing process, you really get that connection to the food that makes you feel good and makes you feel healthy, and have the freedom to live your life, to do whatever you want to do.
yeah, fantastic. And yeah, I think it's basically once you make a decision, isn't it? Once you make a decision that you're going to do something and you've committed your mindset to it, it makes it a lot easier. If you're like not sure, then it's probably easier to have a slip up here and there. But once you really know what you're doing, and do you think the knowledge helps? Like when you know what these foods are doing to you, do you think that really helps make a difference to whether you give in to some cravings or not? Because everyone does have them.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the knowledge and the education is key with this. Like constantly reading and constantly, looking at your guys' videos, and looking at Dave Klein's book and his other
Mm,
work even as well. It's just
mm,
keeping that inspiration and keeping that, on the right track to healing, because it's so important to once you're committed to it, to stay on the right track.
yeah, excellent. Well, I hope that answered your question. The next question we've got here is from Tigress MZ. I hope I said that right. Did you have skin issues like eczema?
I've never had eczema. The only skin issues I did have was when I was taking medications, especially Humira. I'm not sure
Mm,
what other names there are for it, but it's a biologic immune suppressant, and I would get a sort of rash thing on my
mm,
face, like a red blotchy thing coming down
mm,
here and across my eye. And I knew as soon as that came up that this medication was toxic. It was doing something, and
mm.
it wasn't good. I mean, through the healing phase, I had a couple of zits, and that was about it, really.
Yeah. Okay. So, if I just elaborate on that question, skin issues are ways of toxins coming out of your body. So if you've got things like eczema or other types of issues like dermatitis and things like that, it's basically something from the inside trying to get out. And so you've got to look at your entire lifestyle, what you're eating, how much water you're drinking, things like sleep. All of these things need to be looked at. And that's probably the way you're going to resolve it if you can correct the things that you're not doing right at the moment. Okay, the next question is from sm.gm007. Did you take a sabbatical from your work or studies?
Yeah, so I was working full time at the point where I joined Shamiz on the healing program, and I spoke to him about it, and he said, maybe you will, maybe you won't need to quit your job, but I did end up quitting my job, and I'm grateful that I did, and I'm grateful that I was in the financial position where I was able to, because I needed that time. I think it was about 8 to 10 weeks of complete bed rest that I took during the healing phase, and that was something that really helped the healing process to have that break.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you can get more rest during the healing phase, you're gonna be able to heal faster, and your healing process will be much more, I guess. Well, I guess be easier because you don't have to get up and do things. You don't have to go to work and things like that. You also asked a question about cravings, and we actually answered that. Um, so this is the same person. How's your digestion now, and how many hours of sleep per day did you take?
hmm Yeah, during the healing phase, I was definitely sleeping a lot more. I think
Hmm.
between 10 and 12 hours per night. It was just something that was natural because I was a little more fatigued, and yeah, my body just needed it. So I was happy to, and I had freedom to do that. So I was happy to do that at that time. And how is my digestion now? Well, it's pretty much perfect. Um, when I'm eating the whole plant foods, I do either one or two raw meals, two ideally,
Hmm.
and then a cooked dinner. And
Mm-hmm.
this is something that works well for me in the post healing phase. Like
Yep.
occasionally, I'll have some sort of processed food, or I'll eat out, or something like that. And the great thing about going through the healing is having a clean body and having instant feedback whether things work well or don't work well.
Hmm.
So I'll know whether something is gives a little bit of bloating or a little bit of indigestion or something like that. But generally, when I'm preparing all my food myself, I don't include any salt, processed sugar, or oils on my food. Um, and yeah, it works really well for me.
Fantastic. Still with SM.GM007, what do you do to manage stress?
Um, do you think that's right now or during the healing phase or both?
I think it's relevant even now. It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
When you're in the healing
Well,
phase or even now, you come across different types of stresses, and how are you going to deal with them? I think that's a similar process.
yeah, I think going through the healing process was a real journey, and it really connected me to myself. It gave me
Hmm.
that complete rest and time to be with myself. I spent a lot more time um, alone, and yeah, to have that chance to start some meditation practice, and really meditation is the thing that works for me. If
Hmm.
I get up and meditate in the morning, or even to meditate at lunchtime or at the end of the day, but it's most powerful in the morning. That really
Hmm.
sets up my mind for the day, and it just makes me much more calm and able to handle life situations.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I think meditation is good for everyone. Doesn't matter where you are in your journey, whether you're healed or you're not. If you do some time meditating and be with yourself and your thoughts, I think it can really help you a lot. Next question is from Cole Nordquist. Any ideas to keep the healing dinners interesting without straying so far from the diet? probably tough on that one.
Yeah, I mean, often during the healing phase, I would just have a very simple mashed potato dinner, and
Hmm.
I found that the flavor was much more interesting when I actually used high quality ingredients. So I'd use
Hmm.
organic potatoes, the best ones I could find. I mean, potatoes aren't expensive even if they are organic. And
Hmm.
I'd mash some organic white potatoes with some butternut squash, and that would be really creamy and buttery, and I really love that combination.
Hmm.
And every now and then I would have it with some simple steamed vegetables that I then blended into a soup, and that would be perfectly fine for me.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Uh, you can you can get all sorts of different quality of fruits and vegetables, and I think if you're gonna eat such simple foods, you might as well get the best. I think that's a really good answer. Like try and find the best quality that you can, and that's gonna make it much easier, and the taste will be definitely better. Next question is from Bradley Hawley. Throughout your healing process, did you have any cheat meals?
Basically, no, I didn't want to cheat myself. Like,
Mm.
I hold myself to a higher standard than that, and like my health was the number one priority, and so there was no option because I wanted to heal myself, and that's what 100% of my efforts were put towards during that time.
And you'd also taken a long time to think about what you wanted to do. I mean, I think met you maybe like 2 years before you actually joined up with us, and you definitely taken some time to
Yeah,
consider what you wanted to do, and so you were fully like mentally ready to do the process. And I think that's definitely part
mm,
of the process too, isn't it? Like to be mentally have decided, yep, this is it, and I'm all in, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I think that's the kind of mindset that is going to help you a lot in the healing phase. Okay, the next one is from I'm going to get this one wrong. Blue Ahumada. How did you know you were healing? Still change, consistency, urgency. Uh, how did you know you were healing?
I think the biggest thing for me was how the energy changed. So I was really quite fatigued during the healing phase, and then
Hmm.
I think it was almost overnight. I just felt really energized and mentally clear and able to, like, I just
Mm.
wanted to go out and run a marathon. I physically wasn't capable of doing that, but that's how I felt at the time. It was a real light switch turned on moment, and
Hmm.
like with bowel movements, I was having a lot of diarrhea during the healing phase. I
Hmm.
can't remember the frequency, um, like maybe around 10 times per day, but that healed itself up, and that
Hmm.
stopped about 8 or 10 weeks into
Yep.
the healing phase. And yeah, I think that was partly to do with my increased energy because having diarrhea is very exhausting.
Yeah. So important to also understand that even when you were having those symptoms of detoxification, you were healing at that time too. So
Yeah,
it's some people think that when they're getting these symptoms, they're going backwards or they're getting worse and things like that. As long as you don't let it get out of control and you're being monitored and you're working with someone who's seen so many people go through this process, um, you can kind of tell what's too fast, what's not, and but your body's healing all the time and it wants to be healthy. So all right, guys, we might end that here. This is just part one of the video, so we're going to do a second part of the video next, just so it doesn't become too long and we can get through everybody's questions. So if your question hasn't been answered, don't worry, we're going to get to it in the second part. They'll be uploaded in the next couple of days. But Chris, just for this part of the video, thanks for joining me, mate. And if anybody wants to follow Chris, check out his Instagram, Holistic Chris. I think that's right, Holistic Chris. And I'll put a picture of his Instagram page up on here, and also link to his profile in the description box below. Uh, so Thank you guys for watching part 1 of this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and the little bell notification right next to it will give you email updates of future videos from High Carb Health. Once again, thanks for joining me and Chris here, and we'll see you for part 2 coming up very soon.